This is also a question from seminary. What should I do if my husband or the person I'm dating has a porn addiction or any addiction in general? I can ask you the question in reverse. What should a boy do if he's dating a girl and the girl has some kind of an addiction? I don't think addictions are uniquely male. I would imagine that some addictions are far more likely to be male addictions, but addiction is a problem across the board. We all want the people in our lives to be perfect. We want our husbands to be perfect, we want our children to be perfect, we want our parents to be perfect. But we're not perfect. And we accept our own faults. The Tzemach Tzedek explains in Avos Yisrael, the Gemara, that's written in the negative, right? When the pasuk says "V'ahavta l're'echa kamecha," love your fellow as yourself, but Hillel didn't say love your fellow as yourself. Hillel said don't do unto others what you don't want to be done to you. The Rambam actually in Hilchos Deis reverses it to make it into a positive statement: do unto others what you want to be done unto you in halacha. But the Gemara, the Talmud, is written in the negative: do not do unto others what you don't want to be done unto yourself. So the Tzemach Tzedek asks, why is it written in the negative rather than in the positive? And he answers this very point. We all have an ability to overlook our own faults, to forgive ourselves. We all have faults and we know them. We know our own faults better than we know other people's faults. But we don't make ourselves hate ourselves because of it. We forgive ourselves. So he says, what you don't want done to you, don't do to another. Just like you don't judge yourself, don't judge another person. And to talk about dating for a minute, and this is a whole kettle of fish, which I would normally talk about at great length, but I don't have the time for that here in this form of Q&A. There's a cultural tendency when we research people and we find out one fault about a person, we say they're no good, which is very silly and very simplistic and very childish, because we have things that are wrong. When you're researching a person, you don't want to expect them to be Moshe Rabbeinu. You're not the Tzepaira. You want them to be compatible with you. Everybody has faults and everybody has flaws. It has to work for you. So you know your milas, you know your chesrenes, and in a perfect world, your parents who are helping you with this know your milas and know your chesrenes and try to find you a spouse that's right for you. I don't think that this means you have to go and look for people with problems to marry just to prove that you're an honest person, that you're a realistic person about your own faults. But if you find a person that in all other ways is compatible with you and they have an addiction, the answer to this question is as follows. If they don't take their addiction seriously, then it's a big problem. I can't imagine how you could marry such a person and you could be married to such a person. If a person has a problem, but they're honest about that problem, and they deal with the problem, meaning to say they're taking steps to manage their addiction, first of all, that is the true meaning of a Baal Tshuva. Those people, if they truly do what they need to do to heal themselves from these challenges, are humble and hardworking and honest and Bali Tshuva. And a person who's had an addiction, and pornography is particularly, we're sensitive to it especially, but they're managing it and they're not dishonest about it, may actually be a far better candidate than a person who's not doing this kind of hard work. And it's something that you should be very careful about throwing away. It sounds terrible, right? I can't believe it. How could I be involved with such a human being? It's abhorrent. That's the instinctive response. But the real truth of the matter is, if a person has an addiction and they're not honest about it, you can't live with such a person because their whole life is a lie. But if a person is managing their addiction, they're actually probably better for it. I know a man who told me that there was a boy who kept on dating girls, and after whatever number of dates, he would raise the issue of his addiction, and he would say that he's doing what he needs to do to heal it, and the girls would drop him like hot potatoes. And he got so frustrated that he made up his mind that when he dates a girl, on the very first date, he's going to say to her, listen, I have this problem, and I'm telling it to you now. If you don't want to marry me, let's resolve it immediately. So he dated a girl. And on his first date, he told this girl that he has this problem and that he's working, doing the steps and maintaining, really, it's a life of tshuva. And the way about tshuva is you're about tshuva for the rest of your life. You're always an addict. And he says, I'm doing. So the girl had enough seichel to say to the boy, I want to speak to your doctor, and so on and so forth. And they got married, and they're very happily married. So you have to be careful not to simplify this issue. On the addict is the obligation to do what he needs to do to manage it, because it's besides for the aveda shebedavar, you become a meshugad. An addict is crazy. An addict is drunk all the time. He's sick, and when you talk to him, he's not present. When he does his work, he's not fully there. His relationships are very deficient because of his addictions. But if a person manages his addiction, they're a better person. They're mamish abal tshuva.